Welcome back to another edition of Austin's American Flyer, where today we did it. We climbed the mountain and we reached the first peak. One of the milestones of this inheritance set was getting this Hudson back into operation. And today is the final video that kind of walks through the bits and pieces that needed to happen. And then it's kind of a special tribute to both the family and to American Flyer. At the end, I'm going to be doing something I'm going to call the gallery, and I hope that's something that you all stick around for and enjoy this. Thanks so much for sticking with us, and to the family, I hope you are happy to see this. I hope this brings back some great memories, and thanks for the privilege to restore this, and I'll continue to work on the rest of your items and eventually get everything that's restorable back up and running. And I don't know if I'll do videos of all that, but certainly there'll be an update down the road. So with that in mind, I invite you to join me today as we review a 1947 322 SIT that has been brought back to readiness, back to operation, today on Austin's American Flyer. Well, an exciting, momentous occasion is before us here, where suddenly the parts necessary to complete restoration of the 332 have arrived, mechanical parts specifically. Still have a little bit of cosmetic work to do, but I'm excited to have you all with me today. This is the fourth in our inheritance series, and what a joy, what a joy. Pretty excited to see this thing on the rails again. And so, without any more delay, let's get rolling. All right, so let's start with the boiler front. Somehow through the years, the brass pieces that went to the backside of the boiler front had gone missing. At least one of them had. One of them remained and was sent in some miscellaneous bits and pieces that came with some paperwork that had survived through the years. And so today we're going to begin with the boiler front, and challenge is just finding a way to kind of protect it, because I'm going to have to use some temperate violence on it, because I'm going to do something called peening. I believe that's a proper terminology, and I'm sure it's not. Someone will correct me. But I have these punches that have these rounded ends. The idea being, as they come into contact with this cast, it pushes in, creates a divot in the middle, which then forces the metal out. In doing so, it does two things. It enlarges the circumference of the metal, which pushes out on the outside of the brass piece, this hole. And if things are going as well as we could hope for, there's a chance it also may create a lip over the top edge of the brass piece, which would be just the best case scenario. But even if it's just tight, then that'll be good enough. The other thing I might mention is, and I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera here, but you see these have these little tabs at the back, and inside the boiler here, maybe if I come this way, inside the boiler are these wedges, I guess is the best way of putting it. The idea being that as you slide the boiler in, these brass pieces slide against the side of the boiler with a minimal amount of tension, and then when they come to the back here, that little angled piece kind of locks at the back, and that's what keeps the boiler front in place as the engine trundles down the track. So yeah, Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with a 1/8 inch punch here first. Another issue was that the front truck not only had a broken wheel, but again, I mean, that could be pulled off and repaired, but I was missing all the attaching pieces. So Patrick was kind enough to provide this to me. We've got a spring and a washer and a screw, special screw. So that'll make reattaching this to the front of the shell or the engine just very, very simple when we get to that point. All right. Another thing that was missing was an eccentric rod. So again, Patrick was kind enough to send that. So that will be part of our assembly in a little bit. I know I've done this before, but he also sent me a piece of new billows material. So I thought that this would be the next piece of the puzzle here. The first thing I want to do is remove hardest things about repairing one of these smoke and tender units is if you have to replace this hose, it is easy to get off and terribly hard to get back on. I think it was Doug at Portline Hobbies suggested turning them inside out, and then you just roll them over the connection point. This will be fun. Let's see how well I can do this. Well, that was a struggle. It was not as bad as I anticipated, so there's a win. Okay, next fun bit is to try to get things back inside here. And the challenge is always the lever on the reverse unit doesn't like to get in there like it should. Again, I didn't expect it to go together that easily. All right, now just to make sure that there are no surprises thus far, I'm gonna hook power up to the motor and just make sure it turns like it's supposed to, and that I don't have any wires that have either come loose or shorting out. I don't see that that's going on, but I'd rather check now than get further into down the road and find out, oops. All right, that checks out well. Good. So I'm going to turn the cameras off now, and I'm just going to clean the shell a little bit, and when I bring them back, we'll continue with some of the more fun stuff.